Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hey, it's Olivia. Welcome back to Divorce Happens. Today I want to talk about grief, specifically divorce grief, which I think is one of the most misunderstood, most minimized, and most complicated kinds of grief there is. And I want to talk about why it doesn't follow the rules, why it doesn't behave the way we expect grief to behave, and why that can make you feel like something is really wrong with you when absolutely nothing is wrong with you. Let's start with what we think grief is supposed to look like. So most of us grew up with some version of the stages of grief, right? Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. And whether we learned it in a classroom or just absorbed it from culture, we carry this idea that grief has a shape, that it moves in one direction, that there is a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you do it right, you come out the other side healed and whole and ready to move on. Hooray! Yeah, but the thing is, divorce grief does not work like that. And the sooner we stop expecting it to, the more compassion we can give ourselves when it doesn't. Here's the first thing that makes divorce grief different from almost every other kind of grief. You are grieving someone who's still alive. There's no funeral. There's no casserole on your doorstep. There's no moment when the world stops and acknowledges that you have lost something enormous. In fact, the person you're grieving might be texting you about the electric bill right now. They might be showing up at your kid's soccer game on Saturday. Their loss is real and profound and life-altering, and yet the world just keeps moving like nothing's happened. That disenfranchised grief that doesn't get socially recognized or validated, is its own particular kind of painful. The second thing that makes it complicated is that you're not just grieving one thing. You are grieving many things at once. You're grieving the person, you're grieving the relationship, you're grieving the future you thought you were going to have, the anniversaries, the growing old together, the version of your life that exists in your imagination. You're grieving your identity as a spouse, maybe as a part of a family unit, maybe as someone who believed their marriage would last. You might be grieving your home, your financial security, your friendships, your in-laws. Each of those is its own loss. And they don't all hit at the same time. They come in waves, sometimes one at a time, sometimes all at once, sometimes completely out of nowhere. Which brings me to the third thing. And this is one that catches most people off guard. Divorce grief is not linear. It circles back. It ambushes you. You can feel completely fine for 2 weeks and then hear a song in a grocery store and be undone for the rest of the day. You can reach what feels like acceptance and then get hit with a wave of rage 6 months later that you didn't see coming. You can grieve the end of a marriage that you desperately wanted out of and feel confused and ashamed about that grief because you're the one who asked for the divorce. You can miss someone you know was wrong for you. You can feel relieved and devastated in the same hour. All of that is normal. All of it is grief doing what grief actually does, not what we were told it does. Here's something I want to offer that I think really helps. Instead of thinking about grief as something you move through in stages, try thinking about it as something that moves through you, in waves, on its own timeline, without asking permission. Your job isn't to manage it perfectly or to reach acceptance on schedule. Your job is to let it move, to not dam it up so tightly that it has nowhere to go, to create enough space in your life that when a wave comes, it can come and then pass. That means letting yourself cry in the car. That means not performing okayness for people who can't handle your grief. That means finding at least one person or one space you can be in without editing yourself. And it also means being patient with yourself on the days when you thought you were over something and it turns out you're not. That is not regression. That is not failure. That is just the nature of this particular kind of loss. It has layers, it takes time, and the timeline is yours, not anyone else's. You don't have to be over it yet. You don't have to be anywhere other than exactly where you are. Grief is not a problem to be solved. It is love with nowhere to go. And it deserves to be treated with that kind of tenderness, especially by you, for yourself. Okay, that's it from me today. Just remember, you are so much further along than you think. And I'll see you next time. Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.